Indeed, it was not without the taking of an oath that Christ was made priest. For those Levites who formerly became priests received their office without its being confirmed by the taking of an oath. But this one was designated with an oath through the one who said to him,
Look at that.
"The Lord has sworn and will not change his mind or regret it. You, Christ, are a priest forever."
Get a vision in your mind of what forever means.
Forever.
That's a mighty long time. It's not even a long time. You can't put a time limit on forever.
No. And so, because of the oath's greater strength and force, Jesus has become the certain guarantee of a better covenant, a more excellent and more advantageous agreement, one that will never be replaced or annulled.
And what is that covenant? The new covenant. The new covenant has a high priest attached to it. This high priest is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
And he is forever.
He's forever. That old covenant was replaced by the new one.
Yes.
Otherwise, Jesus is not our high priest.
That's right.
Now, I don't know about you, but it becomes very difficult for me to even participate in the high priests of that old covenant because there's no perfection over there.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that when you come before the throne of grace, you're coming before the high priest who has what you need.
Yes.
Every time.
Every time you come.
Why? He will never die.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in.
He has self-renewing power.
He has self-renewing all power. Now. So, go on and finish yours up down here.
What verse was that?
You read verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Read it one more time.
And so because of the oath's greater strength and force, Jesus has become the certain guarantee of a better covenant, a more excellent and more advantageous agreement, one that will never be replaced or annulled.
Next verse 23.
The former successive line of priests, on the one hand, existed in greater numbers because they were each prevented by death from continuing perpetually in office.
They would die.
But on the other hand,
here's the other hand.
Jesus holds his priesthood permanently and without change because he lives on forever.
Verse 25.
Therefore, he is able also to save forever, completely, perfectly for eternity, those who come to God through him, since he always he always lives to intercede and intervene on their behalf with God.
Now, what does he intercede and intervene with on our behalf? He has things that he did, and he has things that provide for mediation ministry where the new covenant is concerned.
Remember, we read up here that the old covenant could not justify the sinner before God. That one where they kept killing the bulls and goats and rams and doves and turtle doves and all whatever. None of that justified the sinner before God. What did God want to do with the sinner? He wanted to take off that tag of sinner and make him son. Remember Adam? You remember God back in the garden with Adam? What he did at the end of the day, in the cool of the day, he would come down and fellowship with Adam. Not just male Adam, male and female. Once he separated them, he fellowshipped with them. This was God's pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
He would come and fellowship. What is from the time man sinned, God's plan was to restore that fellowship that he had with man in the beginning. And the old covenant couldn't do it.
Oh.
He couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sin was the thing that was between God and man. We couldn't forget it, and God couldn't justify us because of it.
Yeah. And in this particular case,
And so he needed a new covenant with better promises, an everlasting priest, an everlasting king, to make it possible for us to go back to our relationship that we had and actually fellowship, commune with God like we did in the beginning.
Yeah. Now, think this through. Go and read verse 25 one more time.
Verse 25. Therefore, he is able also to save forever, completely, perfectly, for eternity, those who come to God through him, since he always lives to intercede and intervene on their behalf with God.
All right, now, this is Jesus' high priestly ministry in action. Now, this ministry of Christ is a forever ministry.
Yes.
Now, Christ died at Calvary for us. He was buried. He rose again from the dead. He ascended up at the right hand of thy throne, O God, the forever throne of God. Now, what Jesus is doing right now for us,
yes,
he stands in mediation between God and man. He points the Father to his shed blood.
Yeah. Yes.
And as the Lord our God, Yahweh, looks at that shed blood on the heavenly mercy seat and the heavenly tabernacle, this is propitiation now.
Yes.
Our God can say for all time, you are sinless.
You are sinless.
You are righteous. Mm-hmm. You are holy.
Yes.
You are sanctified, set apart. You belong to me. I own you. We were bought with a price. Yes. And notice these words down here. He says he always lives. This sets the anchor in our souls here, because it puts us in a place of recognizing that if he lives forever, our sins have been wiped away forever.
Yes.
Sin has been put away.